Hello and welcome to the channel. If you're here as a med spa owner, solo injector, nurse practitioner, or skin body clinic, well, if you're trying to figure out why your med spa leads are not booking the appointments and what's going on with your Facebook advertising, or if you're considering running Facebook ads, well, this is going to hopefully serve you. If you're one of my first few viewers, welcome you again. I appreciate you, and I will serve you my best knowledge and expertise from running marketing campaigns and booking thousands of appointments for our 60 something med spa partners in 20 states across the entire United States. Okay. And so the benefit that I have running a agency that integrates my marketing side with the sales side is essentially we get to see the objections that our team are pushing onto each other internally on a daily basis. So we have our media buying team, the people who are generating the leads by creating the ads, the videos, the statics, the images, crafting the offers, running them on Meta, on Facebook and Instagram, and basically generating the leads. And then we have, on the other hand, the sales team, the internal sales agents, the team who's basically calling these leads instantly. Speed to lead is crucial, and they're basically booking the appointments directly in our partners' calendars and EMRs. Now, as you can imagine, or maybe you can't imagine it, this is why I'm going to shine some light on this matter for you. The marketing team will generate the leads. They'll be within KPI, a $5, $10, $15, $20 lead, depending on the service, depending on the price point. And they'll say, I'm done. I've done my job here. Now, the sales team is going to very often push back on that and say the leads are not picking up the phone, or they're not high intent. They never intended to book. They're just not real opportunities. And so you're left with a question, which is it? Is it the marketing that's the problem, or is it the sales? And how do you fix it? If you're across both of these departments because you're running your own stuff in-house, then that debate should happen in your head. Well, I hope it does, at least, because if it doesn't, then a lot of med spas dismiss and discard all of the leads, and they say Facebook ads are dead and it's just not worth running social media advertising, and then just give up. They think they cannot explain it, they do not understand, and then they just give up on it, throw the baby out with the bathwater. And so the thing that I implemented here, which I caught this week when I realized that our call manager, the support team, is basically discarding good conversations, good leads as potentially not useful, is the ultimate litmus test, which is, are the leads picking up the phone or not? And here's why I'm doing this. Because there is a reality to leads being generated with Meta that could objectively just be duds. How do I know that? Well, then if you're generating a lead and you're calling them in a second, so your speed to lead is impeccable, and they're not picking up, and obviously don't just stop after one, do it on 10, 20, 30 leads, and they're not picking up the phone, or you're getting like maybe one pickup out of 20, that ratio is way off. You should be getting at least 40, 50% pickups if your speed to lead is on point. If you're then following up with them the first 3, 4, 5 days, up to 2 times a day, 9, 10 times in total, and you're still not getting pickups, which is to be expected, to be clear. In the follow-up, you're never going to get as much pickup as you will in that initial speed to lead. Then there's your second clue that there may be something wrong with the lead quality. And that can happen for 2 reasons. One is the numbers can objectively be fake, especially with Meta lead forms. It's so easy to fill out a form. We can make a mistake. There could be a typo. It could be intentional or non-intentional, just accidental. Or they come pre-populated with that person's contact details from 20 years ago when they set up the Facebook account. Well, there's no surprise that those leads are never going to pick up the phone. Fortunately, that's an easy fix. That's an easy one to basically write off. And the way you do it is you implement 2-factor authentication, which is a new feature on the forms, which makes people submit a code to verify that the number is legitimate, the same way you would with an email when you subscribe to a newsletter. Once they do that, once you implement that, the other thing to bear in mind is that you can increase the qualification on the landing page, on the lead form itself, to ask a few questions that would get someone, a human, to actually pick an answer. So what treatment are you looking to get today? What problem are you looking to solve? Which part of your face are you looking to get Botox in, and so on and so forth. These questions will increase the cost per lead, but they will demonstrate that there's a real human behind it who's actually explaining their pain points and the reason why they clicked on your ad in the first place. Now, what if you do all these things and you're still not getting leads that are picking up the phone? Well, then there's a problem of offer, or there's a problem of of creative. If you're slapping a bunch of Canva ads together, and to be clear, anyone can now generate leads on Meta. Anyone. It's so easy. You slap a couple of images on Canva. You don't even need to go to the ads manager. You can boost them from your Instagram. You can just put it in there on Instagram, launch it, boost it, generate leads. It's so easy. But those are the leads that are never going to book. They're never even going to pick up the phone. And don't ask me why. I've spent over $10 million in ads in the local service lead generation space. And for some reason, static, generic Canva images, they just generally speaking get bad leads that never pick up the phone. And it looks like Facebook is almost punishing you with either fake accounts or bots or just very, very bad quality prospects that maybe are opting in every single ad that they see and they never pick up the phone. Maybe they even have a spam filter on their number, and basically that phone is never going to get through to them. Now, let's say that you get a pickup. Now we're talking. As soon as you get a pickup, then I want you to treat that with the utmost respect and seriosity. This is a good, solid potential candidate. And why is that the case? Well, because as soon as they picked up the phone, then you know it's a real person. And now typically there are two things that may happen where med spas and sales agents would dismiss the lead as being low quality, which is there's low intent to communicate in the form of I'm at work, call me later, or I'm too busy now, etc. In which case, if you accept that and you say, sure, I'll call you back later, then they never pick up ever again. Most of the times at least. And then the second scenario is when you're explaining the treatment, there seems to be a lot of questions. They're taking you for a free joyride. And then they say, I'll think about it, or they just seem flaky and they don't actually pull the trigger. They don't book the appointments. The way to check for this second one is to ask for a deposit, because if they're not paying a deposit, then clearly there's no intent behind that booking and they will most definitely not show up. The first one, now that one is an interesting one. The one thing that I say to our team all the time is you need to gently push back on that. And the way you do it is they say, call me back later, I'm at work. The best way to handle that is, sure, no worries at all. Just so you know, we get a lot of calls. We're running a very special limited offer, very high demand for it. Just wanted to understand what is the challenge? What are you looking to achieve? So I can be better prepared for when I pick up the phone and I call you later on today. The point of this is not to book them and close them on the spot. It's just to create a bit of rapport, a bit of intrigue, a bit of curiosity, enough so that when they have time later on in the day, they actually remember you and they maybe saved the number and they expect your call. That's it. If they get chatty and it turns out that the objection was not real, that they weren't that busy after all, then please do not stop. Ask them a second question, ask them a third question, continue a discovery process, figure out exactly what it is that they want to achieve and close them there and then. Why wouldn't you? But if they can't, and if they say things like, oh yeah, I just wanted to lose some belly fat, but I really have to go now, I'm at work, then just let them go. What they're going to do now is they're probably going to slap you with a generic call me after 5 or call me after 4 o'clock. And that's when you know that their autopilot has engaged. This is a generic answer. You don't need too much thinking power to come up with it. You want to challenge that as well. Why? Because you want them to actively engage and think about the optimal time to pick up the phone to increase your likelihood that they will. And so the way we do that is absolutely. Should I call you at 5:15? I can do 5:30 even, or should I do 5? Are you going back from work? Are you going to be driving at that time? Just want to make sure I catch you at a good time. And then they'll start thinking. And that's when you know you have them. When they start thinking about a good answer, that's when they're high intentioned. Okay? So that's how you handle the call me back later. And I'm just putting this out there because I see so many med spas and so many sales agents that come to us who are not treating this seriously enough. They're just discarding it. And that's where elite appointment setting distinguishes itself from just generic, I'll book whoever I can kind of mentality. And now the second one, to prove this even further, is when you're dealing with leads that just seem to be in the I'm still thinking about it, I'm still shopping around, inquiring sort of space. But that is a perfect place to find them, because typically what you're experiencing here is the customer's journey. You have people who come into this conversation because they just about figured out that they have a problem that they want to fix, such as wrinkles that start to bother them more than they used to, or body fat that they want to get rid of. And then on the other hand, you have the ones that are already well researched, they've spent time, they've looked at other offers, and they're coming in, money in hand, shut up and take my money, let's go. You're not always going to deal with those ones. Those ones are the good ones. They're the ones that pick up the phone and they're like, yeah, what time do you have? Book me in. You then hopefully ask for a deposit, and then they give you the card, you put the deposit in, they're in. That's not going to happen often. I mean, it will to some extent, depending on the market and depending on the types of ads that you run, because you can run ads that are appealing to mostly these kinds of people and the ones that are appealing to mostly unaware ones who still need information. If you're scaling and if you want to achieve very, very quick progress with your med spa in terms of volume of appointments, you will need to master the first case scenario, the unaware scenario. So you will need to figure out the way to answer these questions over the phone in a way where you can still get them committed, booked in with a deposit. And so this is where, again, bad discovery, insufficient shitty discovery is essentially preventing these leads from booking in, okay? And so how does that look like? Someone that comes in and they start asking a ton of questions, and they're the ones that lead the conversation. They're asking you, how many sessions do I need? How much does it cost? Is there downtime? How does it work? And so on and so forth. That is where you want to recognize another litmus test. Well, this is not so much a test, it's more a rule of thumb, which is you have to be the one that's leading the call. And the way you do it is you ask questions back. The one who asks the questions is the one who's leading the call. And so I like to ask a question from a question. And so as soon as you feel like you've lost the lead, as soon as you've lost the leadership of the call, you basically want to get right back in there. So she says, how many sessions do I need? Well, it depends on a client by client basis. Most people will need anywhere between 3 and 6 sessions. Just so I'm clear, what exactly you're looking to achieve, and boom, you're back in. You cannot answer questions that you don't yet know the answer to. If it's not a favorable answer, do not answer it, because you're exposing yourself to something that the lead might not like. And that's when they come with, okay, yeah, sounds good, I'll think about it. Okay, it sounds good, book me in at this time. And then you book them in, and then they never show up. Okay, so you have to be the one that's doing the thorough discovery. What are you looking for? Why now? Why not last year? Why not next year? What have you tried so far? What worked? What hasn't? Why? And so on and so forth. And so by the time you get to the booking thing, you're crystal clear that they're in, that they want it. The ultimate way to figure out if they're really in is to tie them down to the process, which is, how does this all sound? Is this pretty much what you're looking for? And if they say, hell yeah, let's go, then you know you've got them, okay? If you don't have that, if you sense a bit of hesitation, then you don't have them. And then you have to dig in. I feel like there's something holding you back there. What is it? How can I help here? What can I do to help explain this further? And you do not move from there until you have it, because there's something unspoken that's not been dealt with. Once you have the hell yeah, once you have the utmost commitment and excitement from them, then you can move on to the deposit. And why do you do that? It's because when you take a deposit, that's when you really realize if they can put their money where their mouth is. And if they'll give you the money, then self-explanatory, sharp rates increase to typically 90% plus. And if they don't, that's when you have to deal with that. Because this is a second place where they may say, I don't have my card on me, call me back later, etc. And this time you have to, again, figure out, is this a real logistical objection? They really don't have their card on them, their wallets. Is it really that they're driving? Whatever it may be. Times and times again, we've asked leads to pull over on the side and pay there and then. Oftentimes we don't even have to ask them. They'll do it themselves. They want the deal. They want the offer so badly that they're just going to do it by themselves. And so you, as a med spa, nurse practitioner, any of these kind of services here, if you're calling your own leads, then you have the benefit of being able to flex these things a little bit. As an agency, we are standardized. We're always striving to book an initial appointment with an initial consultation trial, some sort of trial before you fully buy. You don't need to worry about that. You can potentially try and get them in for a consultation. If you feel like they need a bit more discovery and a bit more rapport building, you should still take a card. Put a card on file, and ideally even take a deposit. Even if it's a free consultation, you can take a card on file and just say your $29, $30 are going to be refunded if for whatever reason you're not qualified for the service, or if you decide not to go forward with it. But if you do, then we'll credit it towards the cost of your treatment. And that's how you get a card and a deposit even for free consultations. Okay, so I'm just giving you the two most prevalent objections here, which are call me back later, either at the start of the call or at the end of the call, or the deposit hesitations, because these are the ones that you'll encounter more often than not. And these are the ones that are ultimately going to prove you that the leads are high quality enough. And so again, just as a conclusion, if you have a pickup, then you have liftoff. You have no reason not to book that lead. Okay. Not everyone's going to book, to be clear. You don't want to try and book every single one of them. 50-60% is plenty. 70-80%, you're already elite world-class level. But even 20-30% works, depending on how cheap the leads are, depends on how well you upsell once you get them in the clinic. Strive for more, because always more is better, of course. But at the end of the day, just do not think that because the lead picked up and said, I'm busy, call me later, this wasn't a good lead. It's a good problem to have. If they don't pick up, now that's a completely separate conversation. That's marketing territory that can be fixed with the creative, with the video, with the statics, with the offer, with what you say in it, with moving from Facebook lead forms to static landing to landing pages in the funnel. There's a lot to be surfaced there and discussed as well. But fundamentally, just as a final conclusion, do not spend more than $100-$200 on an experiment. So if you get 10, 20, 30 leads, it doesn't take more than that to figure out if these are good quality leads or not. If you're getting 20 leads and you're calling every single one of them within seconds, of course within working hours, assuming not all of them come in at midnight, which sometimes they do. People go for a sandwich, then they feel miserable, they click on an ad and then they opt in. Then you should be getting at least 4 out of 10 to pick up on that speed to lead, and then another 2 on the follow-up over the next few days. If you don't get those kinds of results, if you only get 1 pickup and 10, 20 leads, scrap it. There's something wrong with the marketing. There's something wrong with the ads. There's no need to spend more than a few $100s. There's no need to run an ad for more than 7 days. I know marketing agencies tend to say it takes weeks, it takes time. It doesn't. It really doesn't. You can tell straight away. And the best offers with the best creatives in the good market, they get left off from day one. Like the moment you put the ad on, you get leads, and then hours later you get someone that comes in and self-books if your funnel is structured correctly, or they pick up the phone and then you book them. You know straight away if you're on a banger or not. So I'm saying this to save you some ad spend. And of course, if you want a second opinion, if you want a trained eye to look over all of it, then medspapatients.com, we're at your disposal. And I hope this is useful. I hope this settles the leads bad debate once and for all. And this is a topic that I'm going to keep revisiting in case you need to be reminded of it at times. And until then, good luck media buying, good luck running ads, generating leads, blowing up your revenue. And until next time.